yes, he is the white guy from Drumline, though he's half Pakistani. Yes, he is in the Q Brothers. Yes, he is a real spiritual weirdo. and just say I was walking the dog earlier today, and I was thinking about GQ, and I almost called him about 3 or 4 times, but I was like, you know what? Let's just wait to get on the air because we haven't seen each other in a little time. And I remembered, when I met this guy 20 years ago, and I was just struck by his energy and his personality, and he has a star-like quality where his light is beaming out of his eyes. And we kind of got into a little groove, and then he went to LA for a while, and he was on some TV shows, and this guy has worked with Justin Timberlake and of course Nick Cannon and Werner Herzog. And I remember being like, damn, I wish GQ wasn't in LA. It would be so cool if he was in Chicago. But little did I know, he and I would go on to have a really wonderful second act and do some important work being social justice theater makers, working with Tyrone Taylor, very special individual who we got to all collaborate with through GQ's partnership with Tyrone and really bringing him into his family. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. We did some stuff with Tarif and the Wu-Tang Foundation. And we got to work at Kids-A-Palooza together, and he dragged me down to Austin City Limits. But I said, you know what? I think me and G's best days are still ahead of us. And I just want to say that right now so we can look back in 10 or 20 or 30 years and be like, Mose, you were right. Thanks for joining us, G. Thanks for bringing your energy and your passion and your heart to everything you do. If you weren't so damn cool, I would be jealous of you.
I love you so much, Mose, man.
How are you doing? Sorry for the long-winded intro, but why don't you just check in with us first? Where are you in your personal journey as we deal with the impact of this virus? Yeah, there it is.
Where I'm at right now, bro.
I brought this for you, actually. Thought I'd dress up a little bit.
Listen, let me see.
You know this laser.
Yeah, but you mean my window just got small, so I can't.
It's the goldfish jacket.
I love the stuff. I love
where are you at on a personal level? Check in with us. How are you? I know you're busy, and then where are you going?
I don't know where I'm going, but I know where I am, dude. I know where I am, and I've had a lot of time to listen, as have we all. I just got to say, like, after that intro, I mean, I just got to say how much I really do love you guys and everything that you do. And you're right. We will look back and say right now was actually just the tip of the iceberg. Believe that 180%. So I feel, aside from like the obvious challenges of pandemic quarantine life, I actually have felt that this time has been a real gift, while remaining sensitive to people who are really struggling right now. I've really strived to keep them at the forefront of my consciousness every day. And at the same time, allow myself to enjoy the gift of what I call the big retreat. The big retreat has been an incredible time for me in terms of creative production, my productivity, my spiritual growth, and I believe that there's really no difference in those. Well, they're completely hand in hand. Like, I have committed to growing as an artist, but only so far as I'm willing to grow as a person. And so that commitment has allowed, that commitment combined with this, the gift of the big retreat, has allowed anything extemporaneous and extra to just fall to the wayside, so that everything that matters is really at the forefront of my consciousness every day. And everything that I want, everything that I'm working on is like what I really, really want to work on, because all my paying gigs have now been canceled for like the whole year. And so rather than freak out about it, I just thought, well, I feel blessed to be in a situation where I actually don't have to worry about putting food on the table right now. I can hold my own for a while. My costs of living aren't high. I'm not going out to do anything. I'm not spending money, aside from some technical equipment that I need to be able to do stuff digitally. But all that aside, like, what am I, when have I ever had this much time to choose what I want to work on in the past 20 years?
So
Like,
in a quick summary, tell us, what are you working on, and how is that connected to, how is it really feeding you right now? You got the new album and the video, and what else?
Yeah,
tell us about it.
Tons of music. Me and my brothers, the Q brothers, released an album called Buggin', which is our first kids album, our first family friendly, geared towards children album, but made for the whole family. And that has been, that we couldn't have timed that to hit during a pandemic, but it did. And I think it actually is really beneficial, because if you're going to be quarantined with multi-generations and people getting sick of each other, you might as well listen to something you can all handle and enjoy. And you don't want to, take yourself out or anyone else out after hearing it, like, a bunch of times in a row, hopefully.
It's like those animated Pixar movies that are for kids and their parents.
Yeah, dude, those are our models for family friendly entertainment.
Can you drop a quick verse from that album just so everybody could feel it?
Yeah, we got a song called taking out the it's called Talking Trash. And it goes, in my house, we all get a chore, like doing the dishes or mopping the floors, washing the windows, mowing the lawn. There's a list on the fridge every Monday morning. Everyone works when you're part of a crew, but there's one thing nobody wants to do. Ran down the stairs, checked the fridge fast. Yup, it's my week to take out the trash. This chore we all hate the mostest, because taking out the trash is totally the grossest. People talking trash because they want to be the hardest, but we talking actual garbage. Talking trash. You heard it, I said it, talking trash. Never forget it, talking trash. So it's a song about talking trash. It's really hardcore, and it's got like a Rick Rubin kind of like Beasties kind of like electric guitar going on in there and everything. But so that's that's one thing that that's happened. As I've been producing music and DJing as Javid Music Party, like my electronic alter ego, and that has been the most fun I've had in years. And I created a new album. I haven't even told anybody this yet, but I made an entire album. It's called the Amalgam Album, and it's going to drop a week from tomorrow on all platforms. I haven't done any publicizing of it yet, but this is a good place to bust it out. And it is created from scratch to finish during the pandemic quarantine. Like the first few weeks, I ducked out of all communication, and I went deep dive, all like 12, 14 hours a day in this album. And it's out of me now. I'm so thankful for the ability to for the time and for the experience of letting it come through me. I'm very excited about it. It's really in tune. It's kind of like, it's definitely in tune with what I feel spiritually is happening with me and the world and with everybody. But it's also it's like, it's dancey, but it's deep, and it's like it has an arc. Like, you know, remember when albums were albums when we were growing up, and like you would actually listen from front to back? Like I rarely do that these days, because I'm also like turned into like a Spotify kid, where I'm just like, oh, that. Like I'm also DJing, so like I don't listen to albums, but like there are still albums I throw on, like Common Sense, Resurrection, like front to back, like every single word, you know.
All right, you got to stop, because I'm having all these ideas about producing a show to the album that's a dance party about social justice, and I'm getting a little too excited.
Yeah,
maybe,
man, I'm with you.
If we could have a track, maybe we would use it for our pre-show, you know, when you release that.
Yeah, sure, man. Sure.
I want to do a big left turn, and then I want to throw the mic to my partners.
For sure.
We had Nina Sanchez on earlier.
I watched the whole show. She's amazing.
Okay, so she said, you know, what's your 15% of fighting for racial equity? Where's your focus? What's your 15%? Where are you focused on bringing your privilege to bring equity in Chicago? I have some ideas, but I'd love for you to share those with us.
Well, there is, you know, my way of life, aside from giving, aside from donating when and how I can and how I see fit, my activism is in my daily life and my acceptance of all people I come in contact with. It's tough to put a percentage on something that you feel you are. I believe I am activism. And I believe my art speaks on behalf of everyone. And I'm a warrior of justice, and I always have been, and I always will be. I don't know how to answer that question any more than that. I do have ideas of things, like I want to tell you about this house I want to buy in a property in Chicago on the south or the west side, and I want to make it a Q Foundation house where we staff it with teachers who are steeped in our form of turning classic theater into hip hop musicals. I've been talking about that for years, so it feels like if I talk about it anymore without doing it, and I'm just one of those people that talks about shit all the time. But on the other hand, I do feel I'm getting closer to that actualizing, and my brother's with me in that. All my homies, the whole crew, the whole Q Brothers is down with it. There's something to be said for the right time for things, but I mean, I've gone so far as looking at properties at times. I've also, you know, peeled back and gone like, whoa, we need to turn our company into a foundation or a real non-profit before we can even accept donations toward that goal. But I think that one thing in this pandemic has brought to light for us, because we've had a lot of people be like, can we donate to you guys? Can we donate to you guys? While we're like just making a song online and inviting people to watch. And I asked my business manager out here in LA about it, and they were like, you can't accept donations. And I was like, oh, we got to have a conversation. Like, do we have to start like something so that we can accept donations? And then it made me think about that would give us a way to, you know, to raise more serious amounts of money in Chicago.
Well, until you do, we'll hang on to that money and we'll put it aside and call it the Collab Q Brothers building fund.
You can have whatever you want, man. What's mine is yours.
Maybe someone's gonna watch this video and make a big donation. Dr. Slick, you must have a brilliant question for the G to the Q.
Dr. Slick, I love it.
Hey, what's up, baby? It's so great to see you. I'm curious. You're a writer. Yes, and I'm just wondering what it's been like to write during this time. What has your process changed at all? Have you found it to be a great challenge, or you said that you went in for like 14 hours to like really get into your music, but what about when it's pen to pad? Can you share with us a little bit about where you are in that process of creativity and freedom?
Yeah, sure. I my writing has always benefited from being isolated. So like that combined with the fact that I think I'm a little bit with like I live alone. I don't have any family out here in Los Angeles. I'm in an apartment that's like New York style living, like really tiny box, like 350 square feet. And I'm in this place now for 3 months. And so
are you on the west side? I'm curious.
no, I used to live on the west side. I'm in MacArthur Park, Westlake, in between downtown and Koreatown. I'm actually in a neighborhood that is one of the most affected by the virus. It's you know, it's strange being in the middle of that and at the same time finding so much inspiration for creativity. So like I said, I try and be sensitive to everybody in need right now, and I also kind of have to be because I can't leave my building without running directly into it everywhere. There's a lot. It's one of the highest homeless populations in the country. Is my neighborhood, Westlake, and so you know, I don't know how I got into that writing. So time. There's voices in my head. Like that's how I write. I just channel the voices in my head. And I was talking to my brother, like I've gone a long time without conversations like the one we're having. And I think what is going on, like I better start either speaking, but if I don't, it comes out on the paper and through the pen. And it actually talk about focus, mud life. Right. You know, I'm not sure I've ever been more focused in my life than right now.
We want to see if somebody from our Zoom has a question for G. Why don't we let Dr. Marcus throw him a curveball in the meantime?
Yeah, so two things. One, G, you know, your love and compassion as a human being shines forth in all of your work, and the depth of authenticity is unparalleled, I'd say, amongst many on stage and film and music. So thank you for that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
The second thing I'd like to say to you is that you and the brothers have a date of your choice in my neighborhood, in my backyard, for the block party that we're gonna throw to kick off the house thing, okay? And we don't have to have bought the house, or no, we just have to have a picture of it, an idea of it. We're just gonna bring it into existence at the earliest stage possible, and then kick it from there, all right?
Okay.
So as soon as they let us out,
all right, dude. I love that.
Yeah, let's manifest it together. And then my question to you is this: what do you have to say to a young artist growing up inside of this pandemic and yearning to do all the things that you've been privileged to do already, in terms of like making it? Because I talk to lots of young artists all the time, and they keep thinking making it is about cars, lights, planes, money, blah blah blah. But having a life where you can choose your art in the ways in which you have described it tonight, for me, is making it. What advice do you have to emerging artists about expectations about the life of an artist, particularly given the situations we have now?
Great question, dude. I would say first that I believe that a healed mind does not plan. It carries out the plans that it receives through listening to a wisdom that is not its own, which means expectations are a setup for despair. Expectation of any kind with anything in life is a setup for some type of despair, depression, grief, shame, guilt, you name it, anything that feels bad, is usually is always something that is experienced post expectation. Because to expect, it's not that we can't wish, we can hope, we can follow the plan. We don't make the plan. I would say spend less time trying to get what it is you think you want and spend more time listening to what you may not even realize you want. Like, that would have saved me 20 years of chasing something that doesn't exist. I believe when it comes to art, if you're making art if you're making art to make money, you are totally doomed. The art is doomed. Your peace of mind is doomed. You may actually do it for a while. You may actually make art to make money, and you'll make that money, but you will go nowhere from there. Unless you're into the art of business, which is to make money. And if your business is your art, then making money is what you do with that. But if you're making the kind of art that I'm here talking about, you make what is inside you. If you address the deepest questions inside of you and answer those, money is just energy. Money is not paper that gets you stuff. Money is energy, and it supports what it needs to when the channels are open. And you open up the channels by making the truest art, the art that speaks to you, not what other people say, not what you think other people want you to make. I've done that for a long time too. Doesn't work. You got to make what you have to make. My favorite artists say that they have to do what they're doing, or they just couldn't exist. So I'm more about doing that now, and I would encourage anyone, especially young artists who are not coming from a place of privilege, because that's the hardest time. If I were a young artist in a place where I was worried about how I was gonna put food on the table, I would think, like, I got to make art to make money. But I'm telling you that that's just not the case.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
GQ, thank you so much for taking time from your writing fountain of focus to
Thanks for having me. You guys are the best. I love what you do. You know that I'm down to support in any way I can ever. I always will. And yeah, let's make some kind of theater, rave, dance experience that incorporates people's stories and allows people to feel more free in every respect of their life. That's what I think we should work on.
From your mouth to the internet, around the world and back again. Love you, G. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Mwah.
Thank you, G.